Okay, just give me a couple of minutes and I can explain. But first, let's talk about these.
Demo discs. They certainly are a thing of the past, but back in my day, demo discs were essential if you had a disc-based console, and most of the time you could get them for free. Sure, usually a purchase was necessary, like a magazine or a pizza, but if you didn't have a whole lot of games or you were just a kid trying to get by, there was a chance that when you went to a grocery store, you asked your mom to buy you some reading material, and if you decided to get a PlayStation magazine, there was always a little something extra that other magazines at the time just didn't have.
I played this game for the very first time on a demo disc bundled with the PlayStation magazine, and if I remember correctly, this was the first PlayStation magazine that my dad ever bought me. In this game's demo, you can play as both of the characters, with each playthrough being about 15 minutes or so, which includes the first level and first boss of the game with a hint of story. Interestingly, there's a brief intro for each character when you select them that's not in the full release, so that's kinda neat. But before we get into the game, I'm the Krohster, and I'm on a quest to beat all 1,278 PS1 games released here in the West. As I go, I'm going to be ranking every game from 1 to 1,278, so be sure to watch towards the end to find out where the game will be placed on the list, and please hit the subscribe button if you want to see how it all pans out. I also stream all of my playthroughs live on Twitch, so if that kind of thing interests you, the link is on my YouTube page.
We start out as Mint, and the first thing that we learn about her is that she really doesn't like to listen, making her sound extremely spoiled. And that is very much the case. We also find out that she absolutely hates pumpkins. While running amok, taste testing each of the dishes and sitting in the king's chair, she's interrupted by her sister Maya and a mysterious man, Dollmaster. According to the High Council, it's been deemed that she is unfit to be the next ruler, and Maya will be the one to take their father's place. Mint nearly commits assault, but realizes Maya has obtained a powerful relic, the Book of Cosmos. Mint is chased out of the castle by a pumpkin, and then we flash forward to 2 years later. We learn that Mint now wants to find a relic to overthrow her sister, take back the throne, and also to rule the world. We see two rough-looking fellas talking about robbing people, and then I guess the boat they're on crashes. The two ruffians bump into Mint, and she's pissed about it, so she follows them to the forest, where we get into the first level. Now, I'm just going to say this from the start. Gameplay-wise, the game is fairly simple. It's almost kind of like baby's first action RPG. Don't get me wrong, I like this game, and I'm not bashing it in any sort of way. There are some semi-difficult parts, but it's really just not that in-depth, and it's pretty easy overall. Each character only has one simple melee attack combo. Mint has a variety of magic with different modifiers she can use, and Rue can transform into different enemies, but that's about it as far as game mechanics go. We make our way through the forest and find the two thugs from earlier with a girl named Elena held captive. We rescue her, and she tells us that her parents have been missing for 5 days after leaving in search of a relic. Of course, this gets Mint all excited, so she insists on helping Elena look for her parents. We find the parents very shortly after, and the dad said he twisted his ankle, but they really didn't make it that far in 5 days, did they? Maybe they were searching other parts of the forest? Who knows? We make our way down a cliffside, kill some little Ridleys, and reveal a magical staircase of 3,345 stairs. We reach a building only to be ambushed by a giant unicorn, or horse, or dog, or whatever. We defeat the thing and go inside, and somehow Klaus, the father from earlier, isn't too far behind. I guess his injury wasn't as severe as we thought. We open up a vault to find a couple of JPEGs that belong to a magician who is researching creators of the relic who are called Aeons. We take everything back to town, and Klaus tells us a little bit about what we've collected, and come to find out, we have a key to open another atelier. After talking to Klaus, we explore the town and meet Rod, a cocky weapon maker who challenges us to a fight, and he is immediately dishing it out.
You'll find out in a second. Oh, fuck! Oh, Jesus!
After getting our ass handed to us, we decide to travel on to the next level. We run into Rue, who suggests we split up to find the entrance to the atelier. We start making our way through the cave, collecting these things that turn out to be platforms later. We take a death and we start grinding so I can melt some big ice blocks. In this game, after taking a bit of damage or using some magic, your max number for HP or MP will eventually increase. So we start using magic on this giant ant, leave the room, and then come back to repeatedly spawn it back in to get enough magic to get some treasures, including a modifier to make our magic stronger. So this game has some platforming, and it's not good. But before we talk about that, I absolutely have to get run over by this rock 3 times. Yeah, I had to numb the pain a little bit after that one. We leave Rue dead on the ground as we face the biggest obstacle in the game. And I swear to God that the platforming is not pleasant. It looks easy enough, but it's just one of those things that you have to experience for yourself. You have to jump on these platforms in order, the next one you're supposed to jump on will blink, and in theory it's not that hard. Sure, they are rotating, but look, I'll just look.
See, like that's bullshit. It's gonna happen this time.
We reached the first boss here, and because I'm apparently incompetent when really the platforming just sucks, we lost some health with each fall in the previous room, and I don't have a lot to spare while learning how the boss works and what I can attack him with, so I take another death here. In reality, the boss is pretty simple in what it does, and we find the atelier. We loot the place, obtaining a tiara and a cube, and then encounter 2 new characters, Belle and Duke. Belle has some beef, but Mint really doesn't care. Mint destroys Belle's self-esteem.
You think you're gonna beat me to the relic? Guess again, you old bag. Old.
And that's when we start to battle. Watching back the footage, I honestly don't remember failing this many times. So much for me saying this game is easy. Must have been that vodka that I had earlier. After getting my ass destroyed like 10 times or more, I finally get the upper hand. Belle and Duke take the hint and the tiara and leave. We fight the other boss again and die one more time for good measure. We get chased up a billion stairs, and eventually we're saved by Rue. We go back to town and Klaus tells us that he's found the location of the relic, and the cube we've obtained is the key to unlocking it, but we have no way of knowing how to use the cube, since it's just a cube. He then tells us there is someone, a magician who might have some knowledge about what to do with the cube, but is hesitant about asking her for help because she's weird, I guess. Fancy Mel lives just outside the forest in an area that is a lot more interesting than the rest of the game. We knock on her door, but she's apparently not home, and in order to pass the time, you have to play with her little helpers, which involves some really stupid platforming segments and some very grating music.
Oh my god, I don't even know what's going on here. I pressed the jump button, I swear to God. No! No!
I have to do 3 different games in order to get Mel to come back. All the while, this maddening music is playing while I fail over and over and over again. So, Mel is home now. Thank God. She tells us that this object is related to Valen's relic, which is supposedly the most powerful relic in the world. Mint, of course, doesn't care and is still adamant about finding the relic, and Mel agrees to help her under one condition, that Mint goes and finds one of her missing helpers. We go to the forest and find the creeps from earlier, terrorizing the poor little guy. We kick their butts and we go back to town. We pay Rod a visit for a little of his backstory and go back to the inn to sleep. Overnight, Mint has a nightmare about being a servant for her sister, and of course it ends with her being attacked by pumpkins. The next day, we pay Mel a visit again. She gives us a report on the cube and asks Mint what her goal is when she finds the relic. Mel warns her once again not to take the power of Valen's relic lightly, and then Rue and Elena show up. Rue is there to see Mel, so Mint and Elena decide to walk back to town together.
So at this point in the playthrough, there's a lot of little things that happen, a bit of filler, I guess you could say, and you know what, I really don't want to spoil the rest of Mint's story. I started writing the script for this video intending to go through the entire story this time around. Instead, I highly encourage you guys to play this game for yourself. I don't know, I feel like I'm ruining how fun the story and the writing is here in this game. It's not an epic adventure like anything in the Final Fantasy series, or more comparably to something like The Legend of Zelda, but doing a fairly brief summary for this game in particular, it just doesn't do it enough justice. So I'm not going to spoil the rest of the story or ending. I'm just going to brush up on Rue's story, and hopefully it'll be enough for this video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think.
Alright, now that I've gotten that off my chest, we'll go into Rue's story. Rue's story opens up with a shadowy figure flying over the forest. Rue and a woman named Claire sit down to have dinner, but a ruckus outside interrupts them. Rue goes to check it out and is attacked by a humanoid monster. Claire runs out to see what's going on, but unfortunately, she meets her end. 3 years pass and we're on the boat. Things largely play out the same. We overhear Dumb and Dumber talking about their plans. We go into the forest to find Elena being held captive, and after dealing with the hoodlums, she gets very confused about Rue transforming from a pollywog into a human.
Thank you, Polly. Wow, you can turn into a person too? Polly, oh no, I'm not a pollywog. This is the real me. But I saw you when you came out, you were a pollywog.
In Rue's story, there is a stark contrast in tone with the exception of some humor here and there, mostly coming from Elena and Mint. Rue himself isn't impulsive and brash like Mint is. He's quite the opposite. He's caring and polite, though his resolve to find the relic is just as strong as Mint's is, maybe even more so, but for a very different reason. I think the storytelling really shines because we have two wildly different points of view while still interacting with the same characters. We fight the monster and enter the atelier, but get an alternate version of how things play out here, with Mint attempting to ambush us but completely failing. We make our way back to town, get the same story from Klaus about where to go next, we fight through the same second dungeon, and I don't have much of a problem with the platform jumping this time because of the gargoyle transformation's double jump. We take out the mini-boss with a pollywog of all things, and reach our destination. After we get the cube, we fight against Duke instead of Belle, which was also much easier than Belle's fight with Mint. Quite possibly because I wasn't drinking. We're given mostly the same story beats. Klaus tells Rue to go and talk to Mel. She gives us a warning about the relic being dangerous, but she's not as hard on him like she is with Mint. We go into the forest, save Mel's little helper. Nightfall comes, and Rue's nightmare is much worse than Mint's, reliving the moment Claire perished. We go back to Mel's, and because she's very wise, she catches on to the fact that Rue may in fact not be the human he's presenting himself as. She feels bad for saying something about it, and one of my viewers also agrees that she shouldn't have brought it up. Rue gives us a little bit of backstory explaining that he woke up in some ruins and didn't know who he is or how he ended up in a place like that. He didn't know what to do, so he left the ruins and just started wandering aimlessly, eventually being found by Claire. After Claire dies, her spirit somehow is absorbed by Rue and lives within him. Mel realizes his plans are to bring Claire back to life with the relic. While she seems empathetic, she again tells of how dangerous the relic could be if it's uncovered. Mint rings the doorbell and the conversation is cut short. Rue greets her and Elena outside, and because Elena was just here to show Mint where Mel's place was, they start going back to town together. On the way, Elena is very inquisitive about Rue's transformation, but luckily for him, there's a star in the way. Rue and the star duke it out. Get it? 'Cause his name's never mind. For the rest of the game, the story bits deviate a bit, and there is an exclusive level for each character. Rue's level really has him taking advantage of his transformation powers in order to get through different rooms, While on Mint's side, she's using her wind magic to control platforms as well as flipping switches to make platforms go in different directions to advance. Again, I really wanted to talk about the story a lot more, because it's not a game that everyone has played, but giving a summary of the entire game's story would be a disservice, and you guys need to go and play it for yourself, or at least watch a full playthrough with all the story bits intact. Watching the characters interact is really just a joy, and is most definitely the highlight of this title. And I myself had a really good time voicing the characters during my playthrough.
Close, but not quite. I was gonna say, I don't take orders from a crazy old woman. Ah! I thought I'd see you here. I bet Mel told you a lot about the relic, huh? Oh, I knew it! It's written all over your face! Oh, come on. Don't get all humble on us. He's always been humble, unlike the immature idiot I've been hanging around. Immature idiot? Oh, you must mean Mint. I was talking about you. Oh, that's a big boo-boo. Here, let me help you. Stay still. Get away from me, lady. I don't need your pity. Ugh. Stop pretending, Dookie. Dookie.
Threads of Fate is a simple yet great little game, but it's not the most complex or varied when it comes to gameplay. There are a few things that I didn't talk about, such as how the shops and items work, but all it really comes down to are simple stat buffs that you can purchase as the game goes on. Some of the areas are longer and more repetitive than they should be. There are some standouts, but there aren't a whole lot of secrets to uncover, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because the story and the world building is really where it's at here. There are quite a few cutscenes of characters talking about times of the past, legends and myths, but they don't go so in depth that the scenes drag on or things become super convoluted. Most everything here is easy to follow along with and never becomes a complete mess. The cast of characters all have distinct personalities, objectives, and desires, and even though the game isn't lengthy by any means, you get to see all of them have a chance in the spotlight and develop through the story by the time the credits roll.
Before I started working on this video, I realized I was going to have a hard time placing this game in the ranking. Not because of how I feel about the game, but because of how others might feel about where I put it. So I really had to ask myself, how am I ranking these games? Is it strictly by how much fun I had with them? Do I take into consideration how much of an impact a game had when it was released? Should I make some crazy, complicated point system where I factor in a whole bunch of elements like sales figures, my own personal opinion, and reviews from the time? I really did think about this a lot, and maybe that's the reason why it took me so long to sit down and write the script, but honestly, this series is more about the journey, my journey, and how the games make me feel as a gamer. So with that in mind, I'm placing Threads of Fate in between Resident Evil and Final Fantasy VII in slot number 3. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for it, but this game made more of an impression on me the first time I played it, and every time I've played it since. Oh, yeah, I forgot I didn't explain this.
He's like covering up his nips. But that's about it. It's the world's smallest tank top, right? It's like nipple cutie. Nipple top. Well, look at what we have here. Not nipple top. Hello, nipple top master. No nipple tops today. What crow need to add in nipple top routine? Still waiting for nipple tops. A crow loves nipple top. Excuse me, I think you guys love nipple top, because you can't stop talking about it. I'm gonna start over. Letty, what do you want the name to be? You should name it this time. What if I just wear my shirts like this for the rest of the stream? Yep, this is it. This is it. Wait, hold on. Let me get like right up to the nipple. Yeah. All right. It's okay. It's okay, I won't do that. I don't make horrible fashion choices like that. I make other horrible fashion choices, but that is not one of them.